Hey there, podcast listeners. Welcome to another episode of Blogger. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the wonderful Emily.
Hi everyone. Jake, I've got to say I'm really excited about today's story. It's unlike anything we've covered before.
You can say that again, Emily. We're diving into a tale that's part mystery, part fantasy, and all kinds of intriguing. It's about a creature so small and strange, it defies explanation.
Ooh, you've got me on the edge of my seat already. Where does this story take place?
Picture this. A boat in the middle of the ocean, filled with people having the time of their lives. There's music, dancing, laughter.
Sounds like a party I'd want to be at.
Oh, absolutely. But here's where it gets weird. In the midst of all this revelry, something extraordinary happens. A whale spouts nearby, and in that spray of water, something magical occurs.
Magical? Like Cinderella's fairy godmother kind of magical?
More like, an hourglass appears out of nowhere, spins in the air, and then shatters. And from those shards, a tiny green blob emerges.
Wait, what? A blob like a living blob?
Exactly. This minuscule green creature comes to life right there on the boat. And get this, it starts to grow limbs.
No way, that's incredible and terrifying. How did no one notice this happening?
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's so caught up in the party, they're oblivious to this tiny miracle happening right under their noses.
It's kind of sad, isn't it? This amazing thing is happening and everyone's too distracted to see it.
You're right, it is. But the blob doesn't stay unnoticed for long. As it gains strength, it lets out this ear-piercing scream that stops the entire party in its tracks.
Oh my God, I can just imagine the shock on everyone's faces. What happened then?
Well, the captain quickly jumps in, trying to calm everyone down. He brushes it off as some wild animal noise, and before you know it, the party's back in full swing.
Wow, talk about a missed opportunity. They could have witnessed something truly extraordinary.
Absolutely. But here's where it gets even more interesting. While everyone goes back to partying, this little blob starts on an incredible journey.
I'm all ears, Jake. What does this tiny creature do next?
It begins to run, and I mean really run. This little green speck is darting between dancing feet over cracks in the floor, completely unnoticed by the very people who were searching for it moments ago.
That's amazing. It's like a tiny green ninja, but also, how scary for the little thing, right? I mean, it could get stepped on at any moment.
You're not wrong, Emily. At one point, it actually does get stepped on, but miraculously, it survives. It's like this creature is indestructible.
Incredible. It's almost like it has a purpose, like it knows exactly where it's going.
That's a great observation. And you're right, its movements become more purposeful as it gains strength. It's as if it's on a mission.
This is absolutely fascinating, Jake. I'm dying to know where this little blob is headed. Does it have a plan? Is it trying to escape?
Well, Emily, that's where our story takes another unexpected turn. But before we get into that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll follow the blob on its daring escape attempt. Stay tuned, listeners.
And we're back, folks. Jake, I can't wait to hear what happens next with our little green friend. Where were we?
Right, so we left off with this tiny, mysterious blob darting across the boat, growing stronger and more agile by the second. It's like watching evolution in fast forward, Emily.
I'm picturing this little green streak zipping between people's feet. It must be so surreal.
Oh, it absolutely is. And get this, as it's running, it's also changing. It's like every step makes it stronger, more coordinated. At first, it was all wobbly, but now...
Now what? Don't leave me hanging, Jake.
Now it's moving with purpose, Emily. It's climbing things. Can you believe it? This teeny blob is scaling the boat's railing like it's training for the Olympics or something.
No way. That's incredible. But, isn't that kind of dangerous? I mean, we're talking about a boat in the middle of the ocean here.
You're absolutely right. And that's where things get even more interesting. This little creature, it reaches the top of the railing on the highest deck, and then it just stands there.
Stands there? Like, taking in the view or something?
Kind of, yeah. It's almost poetic, this tiny being, born from a magical accident, now perched at the edge of its known world. It looks back at the partygoers, still completely oblivious to its existence.
Wow. I don't know whether to feel sad or amazed, maybe both. What do you think was going through its, mind? Do blobs have minds?
That's a great question, Emily. We don't know for sure, but it certainly seems to be thinking about something. Because next, and I kid you not, it spots something out in the ocean.
In the ocean, like a rescue boat or something?
Not quite. The story just describes it as a speck in the distance, but whatever it is, it catches our blob's attention. And then...
Come on, Jake, the suspense is killing me.
Well, Emily, our little blob friend does something completely unexpected. It takes a leap of faith, quite literally. It jumps off the railing, leaving behind the noise of the party and plunging towards the roaring waves below.
Oh my God, it jumped into the ocean, but why? And how could it possibly survive that?
Those are the million-dollar questions, aren't they? It's as if this creature, in the span of a few minutes, went from barely existing to making a conscious, potentially life-altering decision.
It's mind-boggling, Jake. I mean, think about it. This blob came into existence, developed consciousness, navigated a complex environment, and then made a choice that could end its brief life. All while a party raged on around it, completely unaware.
You've hit the nail on the head, Emily. It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? About the small miracles and dramas that might be unfolding around us all the time, if only we paid attention.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about what we might be missing in our day-to-day lives when we're too caught up in our own parties, so to speak.
Couldn't agree more. And you know what? It also raises some fascinating questions about consciousness, free will, and the nature of life itself. I mean, what drove this blob to make such a bold move?
That's deep, Jake. Do you think it was running towards something? Or maybe running away?
That's the beauty of this story, Emily. It leaves us with so many questions to ponder. Was the blob seeking freedom, adventure, or was it drawn to that mysterious speck in the ocean? We may never know.
It's fascinating to think about the journey this little blob has been on, from its mysterious birth to its daring leap into the unknown. What do you think happens next, Jake?
Well, Emily, that's where our story takes an even more incredible turn. Remember how we said the blob seemed to be getting stronger and more coordinated? That trend continues in the water.
No way. You mean it survives the fall?
Not only survives, but thrives. According to the story, this little green creature starts swimming with surprising speed and agility. It's like it was born for the water.
That's amazing. But where exactly is it swimming to? I mean, it's tiny and in the middle of the ocean.
Great question. Remember that speck it saw from the boat? Well, as our blob gets closer, it becomes clear that the speck is actually an island.
An island? Wow, talk about a lucky break. But wait, how does a blob even know what an island is? Or that it should swim towards it?
That's one of the many mysteries surrounding our little friend. It's almost as if it has some kind of innate knowledge or purpose.
This is getting more intriguing by the minute. So, does it make it to the island?
It does indeed. And here's where things get even weirder. As the blob approaches the shore, it starts to change again.
Change? How so? Don't tell me it grows wings or something.
Not wings, but close. Its little arms and legs start to grow more defined. By the time it reaches the beach, it's no longer just a blob. It's hard to describe.
Oh, come on. You can't leave us hanging like that. What does it look like?
Picture this. A small, green creature, vaguely humanoid, but with features that seem to shift and change as you look at it. It's like it's still deciding what it wants to be.
That's both amazing and slightly unsettling. So what does this shape-shifting blob-turned creature do once it reaches the island?
Well, that's where our story takes yet another unexpected turn. But before we dive into that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explore the mysterious island and the further adventures of our enigmatic green friend.
Ooh, you're such a tease, Jake. But you're right, I think we all need a moment to catch our breath after that wild ride. Stay tuned, listeners.